Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. The IRS scandal getting even more intense. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Today, the woman in charge of the IRS Department of Tax-Exempt Organizations refused to testify in front of the House Oversight Committee.
I have not done anything wrong. I have not broken any laws. I have not violated any IRS rules or regulations, and I have not provided false information.
All right, now Ms. Lerner's still on the job, if you can believe it. She should be suspended immediately. Yes, she has the right to remain silent, but she does not have a right to hold a job that has paid her about $750,000 over the last 4 years. Hey, lady, that's taxpayer money. You owe us the truth, not the fifth. Lerner knows she's in big trouble. It's possible she was clueless about the IRS abuses, I should say, but not probable. Many believe she will be charged with a crime, which is why her lawyers have clammed her up. Another guy in major trouble, former IRS Director Douglas Shulman, who was Lerner's boss.
You sure you didn't talk to anyone at the White House about this issue, Mr. Shulman?
About singling out conservative groups for special scrutiny?
Well, that's what we're talking about, isn't it?
I'm absolutely sure I did not talk to anyone.
118 visits. It didn't come up in a casual conversation after 132 members of Congress contacted you about it. You sure you didn't bring it up with anybody at the White House?
Not to my memory.
There might be many reasons you would be at the White House. What would be some of the reasons you might be at the White House?
The Easter egg roll with my kids.
That's a wise guy answer, totally inappropriate to the subject at hand. As you heard, Shulman visited the White House 118 times. 118 times. A red flag for sure. Now, here's how bad the IRS scandal is getting. Even devoted liberal Democrat Elijah Cummings is disgusted.
I believe that there was gross incompetence and mismanagement in how the IRS determined which organizations qualified for tax-exempt status.
Now, over at the White House briefing room, the message remained consistent.
The President said he was outraged last week by the IRS scandal. Is he outraged then that Lois Lerner is taking the fifth, since you said repeatedly today he wants answers? Is he outraged that she's taking the fifth?
Look, I can't speak to any individual's decision about how they'll approach congressional hearings. What I can tell you is that the President will not be deterred in the effort to find what happened here and who is responsible.
See, now I would have lunged at Mr. Carney and I would have been dragged away by the Secret Service because that wasn't the question. Here's the question that Henry asked. Is the President outraged that Lois Lerner took the fifth? Yes or no? Carney can speak to that. He just will not. Our tax dollars at work again. President Obama must know his image has taken a hit. A new Fox News poll asked, do you feel the government's out of control? A whopping 68% said yes. 26% don't think so. Another question, is Barack Obama honest and trustworthy? 49% yes, 48% no. If the IRS scandal continues and the White House continues to dodge, that untrustworthy number will surely rise. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction. With us, one of the stars of the five, Bob Beckles. So, Lerner, what do you think about Lois?
Well, here's the problem with it. If you start by saying, I didn't break any laws, I didn't break any regulations, I didn't say anything to anybody, and then you take the fifth, that's the problem. I mean, I don't know what lawyer in the world, if you convince you didn't break any laws, are going to say, take the fifth. But it goes beyond that. Look, she's a career civil servant. Are we to believe that nobody, but nobody, suggested to her that these things should be looked into? I, for one, don't believe that. Do I believe Obama did it? Absolutely not. But there are people around Obama who may well have done it. So I think, yes, she should be suspended. It's harder to suspend a career civil servant.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it sure is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, well,
you
yes,
can ask for a resignation, and you have to give it, just like you did with, what's his name?
She doesn't have to. Let's leave that aside. Your poll, of course, is just ridiculous. I mean, everybody thinks the government's been out of control for 50 years by that number.
Not my poll.
But Yeah.
It's
I
a
know
Fox News opinion dynamic.
But I will say this, it's the positive on Obama and the negatives are something to be concerned about. If I
Okay, but why are you giving President Obama the benefit of the doubt? I mean, you say, obviously, things aren't adding up. Nobody believes that it was just a few people in Cincinnati doing this. So why, I think it would be wrong, and I want everybody to understand this, to accuse President Obama of anything. I think it would be wrong to do that. But why are you giving him the benefit of the doubt? Why not remain neutral and see where the investigation goes?
You just got finished saying that people are pointing a finger at the president, and then you say we shouldn't raise the specter.
No, I just say remain neutral. You're giving the president the benefit of the doubt. You stated that you don't believe he's involved with this.
I know Barack Obama, and this is a smart guy.
You know him?
Yeah, I know him. I've met him 7 times. And I think that's well enough to say I know him. You've met him 1 time, and I know maybe you know him.
I met him a few times, but I don't know him enough, and I don't think you do either, to make a blanket statement that I'm convinced he's not involved with this.
Do you think that Barack Obama would ask the head of the IRS to come in and say, I want you to go looking after these Tea Party groups?
No, I don't think he would do that.
Of course not.
But I think that there are surrogates who would do it.
Well, that's what I said at the beginning. You just wasted a minute of this interview.
Listen, you asked me a question, did you not?
You asked me a question. I'm trying to answer your question with a question.
All right, then I'm going to answer your question. I don't believe that Barack Obama would be foolish enough to order Lois Lerner or Schulman or anybody else to target the Tea Party or conservatives. Right. However, his surrogates surely would be that stupid. And if he knew about it, the president knew about it, and didn't take any action, that is big trouble for him.
You said to me, why am I giving him the benefit of the doubt?
Yes.
And I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because of exactly what you said, O'Reilly, which is that I don't believe he would have done that. Why didn't he know?
No, it's a bigger question that directly do it. Schulman goes in 118 times.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times.
A lot of Easter egg rolls.
A lot of times. 118. But he never raised this with anybody at the White House. Never, even though congressmen were battering him. The inspector general was telling him, you guys are in trouble. But 118 times, Schulman never said a word.
Do you believe
Does that add up to you?
Do you believe that?
No.
Of course not. I don't
So he
either.
lied.
Probably did. He did take the 5th, so it's probably...
Okay, if you and I are simpatico on the fact that this doesn't add up, why would he protect the White House?
Well, because he was a Bush appointee, and you say maybe he should not have protected the White House.
I'm just saying he's not telling the truth about his meetings at the White House.
Did somebody say at the White House to Schulman, we want you to investigate these groups? This was a time when these groups were proliferating everywhere and causing trouble for the Obama.
And the election. They did very well in the election.
So the question is, why would Schulman, who's a Bush appointee, say, all right, I'm going to get you out of this thing here. I'll get my people in Cincinnati to look into these
Because he's working for the Obama administration.
He's on his way out. He's on his way out. He knows that.
He wasn't on his way out a year and a half ago when all this started.
He knew it was a 5-year term. He knew he was going to go. Look, here's the point. Did somebody say to Schulman, or did somebody say to Lerner, more to the point? I think much more that's more to the point. And did Lerner say to the people in Cincinnati, look into these things?
No, we can't answer any of those questions.
No, we can't. So why are we raising it?
We're raising it because the testimony is getting closer and closer. And this is looking really bad for the press. White House involvement.
Can we find one of the places sabbatical here? Why do we believe that a political appointee somewhere around Barack Obama was involved in this issue?
I think that the evidence right now points to that, but you can't say it with any definition.
Well, you know, this is amazing, and I guess I'm farther right than you are in this one.
Well, you're very rarely right, but maybe on this one.
No, I said right.
I see. All right, Bob Beckel, everybody.
Right. Yeah,
there you go.
Particularly when I come on here, I feel that
You're
way.
befuddled when you come on
No,
here.
I'm not befuddled. You're giving yourself much too much credit. You're a good interviewer, but you're not that good.
Next on the rundown now, a CBS News correspondent says she may have been investigated by the feds, along with Fox News guy James Rosen. We'll have an update on that, and Rosen going to be on a factor at night.